All right, so we will be talking about the differences between and what kind of things you can do with a tax property. The main one that I'm seeing, I would say a fair amount, is people are buying these to live in. I would say for new timers, they're interested in buying this property to either stop renting, um, move somewhere, or basically get into a property for very inexpensively. And so some of the things that you can kind of look for is when getting into a property, I would say be mindful how much money you have to work with, because there will be some legal expenses that you have to deal with if somebody's in there. If there's preservation improvements that need to happen, you just need to have a little bit of cash set aside. So I would say, don't use your rent money to buy the thing and then end up having to put another $2,000 to $3,000 into it to make it livable. So just be mindful. The other side of that will be is possession, or not possession, but being able to see the property before you buy it is difficult because it would be considered trespassing, especially if it's occupied. So you're entitled to do a lot of things with a tax certificate or a tax deed, but it's not like buying a house where you're able just to go in and see the property. So when you're looking at something to live in, be mindful that you have to be kind of flexible. You're getting maybe an 80 or $60,000 property for $5,000. So, or five or less. I mean, we've got stuff on there. I think it's $2,500. So, with that, you can get in really cheap, which is great. But just be mindful that with that, you got to be pretty flexible and willing to kind of, whatever the kitchen looks like is what it looks like. You obviously can fix stuff up, but preservation improvements only allow for preservation. It's not, you can't be going and putting granite in. I mean, you can, but you're not going to get your money back, which is, just not great. The other one is the next one I would say is as a rental, and I've done that quite a few times. The only downside I would see with that is generally you have to put a little bit more money up front, and then your money gets stuck. So when I say that is that there's not a process immediately to refinance, which is what I would do a fair amount. Is that I'd buy it, fix it, rent it out, and then refinance all my money or a large portion of my money out, and then go. I was recycling my money. So if you're okay with your money being locked up and stuck in there, maybe you've got a 401k or an IRA that you're trying to use for something like that, would be a good way for rental wise. And that kind of tees over into just holding the property for the interest. 12% on your money is really good money. There's not many places out there that allow you to buy, much of anything that's legal and still make 12% plus any of the little miscellaneous fees that you want to do. So with that, just buying stuff to sit on it to make 12% interest is great. There's not many stockbrokers out there that'll tell you, like, man, 12%, chicken scratch. Let me show you what I got. 12% is good money. So then we'll segue into the financing side of it, which is, even adds more to it, where you're able to finance the property back to the owner. And that's whatever you guys work out, whether that be a monthly thing, a yearly, however, who pays the taxes and insurance. Like, there's so many things you can do with it that make a win-win for them to get their property back, because the county wants their money and they want the total amount. So there's not a way for them to make payments to somebody. Whereas with you might be able to offer a solution to that and be compensated for it. Which goes the same thing is that if you got somebody that's renting the property, doing some kind of, they're in the property and they're interested and they want the property, those are nice, easy ones to do that as well. Same with if you bought the property, even if it's vacant, and you decided to turn around and owner finance it to somebody else, after you've done some work to it, or maybe done some title clearing, you've paid off some things. I will say, if you are going to be financing to somebody, tell them that you're not selling clear title, and kind of walk them through the explanation of why. And hey, instead of you spending $100,000 on this property, you're going to spend 40 because this, and this, and I'm going to finance it to you. So there's multiple ways you can do it. And that's the beauty of real estate, is that you can turn it and mold it however you want to mold it in the results of making some real money. So hopefully that's helped explain some of the different options you have for investing and what you can use the property for. We've had people that lived in them, rented them, had vacant land and built shops on them, sold cars. I mean, it's just, there's a huge list of things that you can do. Basically, anything you can do with property, and if you go through the proper steps, is just like regular real estate, just at huge discount. So hopefully that's helped. We'll see you in the next one.